At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.
Good morning, everyone. This is Laurel Highlands Happenings, brought to you by Camp Christian on 97.3 Light FM, 1480 WCNS, and online at 973lightfm.com. I'm TJ DeStefano, and again this month we're joined by the Executive Director of the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau, Ann Nemanick. Ann, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back with you for our May segment of Laurel Highlands Happenings. I'm Ann Nemanick, and I am delighted to be with you as we head into National Travel and Tourism Week. This is a week we celebrate our industry, and I'm excited to introduce you to two special guests joining me today. My first guest is Mary Lee Roth of Benner's Meadow Run Camping and Cabins in Farmington, PA. Listeners, I'm really excited that Mary Lou is joining us this morning. Our campgrounds in the Laurel Highlands are starting to open, and they're starting with family-owned campgrounds, and I thought having Mary Lou on our show this morning was the perfect start. So good morning, Mary Lou. Tell us a little bit about the family business.
Good morning, Ann. Thanks so much for asking me to talk with you today. You know how much I love to talk, and especially about camping in the Laurel Highlands. So my parents started Benner's in 1965, and they loved camping, and on the weekends they'd pack up their gear and head for the mountains. And they lived in a little town outside of Pittsburgh, and my dad was a barber, and my mom worked in one of the Pittsburgh hospitals. They found this gem in the Laurel Highlands, and they worked really hard. They actually cleared the land by hand to build their first campsites. I can remember making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for them when I was little. So I grew up here, and my husband, John, started working here when he was 16. So this really is our life, and our campers and staff really become like family to us.
Wow. Well, Mary Lou, we're leading into National Travel and Tourism Week beginning tomorrow, and we're really thrilled that the beginning of this is really a spark for our industry because it's starting with family-owned campgrounds. But we also know things might be a little bit different. So can you share for our listeners what they will experience when they pull through the gates at Benner's?
Oh, I sure can. First, we're so excited to announce the opening date, and our phone rang nonstop. People are so excited to get into the outdoors again. So normally, our guests will pull into the park and walk into our office in our store area where we're waiting to check them in. And we talk to them and get to know them a little and tell them about everything we have here. And they can browse through our store and grab some last-minute camping things like marshmallows, to make s'mores. Mm-hmm. And we give them an activities list, and that includes things like our wagon rides and DJs and dances and crafts for kids and mini golf tournaments and all that fun stuff. But now we'll be doing things a little differently. We'll be doing what we call curbside check-ins. We'll have a packet waiting for our guests at the door, and that'll be filled with all the information that they're going to need to have a great stay here and enjoy the outdoors safely. So they'll be able to call us and order items and pick up curbside. And we'll also be driving around the park periodically. We want to do that just to wave and make sure and keep, so we won't be handing out activities lists as usual, because all of our planned activities, happen in a crowded situation. But I can tell you this, Ann, we have a few ideas up our sleeves to give parents and kids some fun ways to enjoy their visit while still being safe and healthy. I'm not going to give you any details, but we might just be hunting for bear this weekend at Benner's while still keeping our distance.
Wow. So we have talked a little bit about social distancing, and we've heard that, for the past 6 to 8 weeks. So how does that apply in your industry? Are the campsites so many feet apart, or how does that handled?
Camping has always been social distancing. We've just never called it that. But that's the new normal now, isn't it, Ann?
It is.
So, Yeah. So what easier way to social distance than camping? You bring your own bed, you bring your own kitchen and your own bathroom in your trailers, right?
Right.
And tent campers, they have a piece of heaven in the mountains. They get to snuggle in their own little sleeping bags and cook over an open campfire. And if they don't want to cook, we have some great restaurants nearby that are doing takeout. So we've always kept our restrooms top-notch clean. And we're going to be taking extra steps for safety there, too. And, our campers are really far enough apart in our campsites that you don't have to worry about even measuring the distance. You can just relax. And you can even safely wave to another person from far away. So people have always camped to get away, from work and stress, but they don't feel isolated because they can still see other people, but they still keep their, quote, social distance, and they can enjoy all the beautiful scenery.
Well, talking about beautiful, you have a beautiful setting there in Fayette County. And, one of the things that's so great about Benner's is you're close to Ohiopyle State Park. And listeners, Ohiopyle is the largest state park in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, home to 4 whitewater rafting companies, but also one of the coolest little river towns that you can encounter. There's great hiking trails, biking trails, and the Great Allegheny Passage bike trail. We hope you'll continue to stay with us because our next guest will tell us all about this magnificent bike trail. But let's get back to our special guest today, Mary Lou Roth of Benner's Meadow Run Camping and Cabins. So Meadow Run, tell us a little bit about that name, Mary Lou.
Well, it's pretty simple and a little bit interesting, Ann. Naturally, Benner comes from my parents, Chuck and Marie Benner, but Meadow Run is a stream that runs along the edge of our property and eventually flows right into the Allegheny River in Ohiopyle. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
So literally, it connects Benner's to Ohiopyle. So when you put that all together, you get Benner's Meadow Run. And over the years, as we've grown, the name has changed as well. So my dad first called us Benner's Meadow Run Campground. Then he changed it to Benner's Meadow Run Camping Resort after he put in a pool and a few other things. And finally now we've grown into Benner's Meadow Run Camping and Cabins. But, most of our campers just call us Benner's.
Well, that's part of being a family. So, in our industry of travel and tourism, we are all family. So you alluded to you and your husband, but I'm sure you've got some staff and so forth. So share a little bit about what makes a team at Benner's.
My husband's great. We work so well together, and like I said before, we met when we were young. We've been together ever since, and he's really the creative thinker and the visionary. And we both love people. We love to have fun, and that's why this business has been our passion over the years. We just really enjoy it. And I'll tell you, Ann, our staff, I just can't say enough about our staff. We just grow to love every one of them. And we've always said they work with us and not for us because we can't do this without them. And, become our best friends. We've been in their weddings. We had them sleeping on our couches, and we've even taken them with us on vacation. So each summer we get some people that return. We get some new staff, and we always say that we have people who need us and people that we need. So our staff are the ones that really make Benner such a special place for our campers.
Well, I can honestly say you've been the perfect guest today because the theme for National Travel and Tourism Week is the spirit of travel. And you and your family and your great staff have always embodied the true spirit of our industry. So before we close, tell our listeners, I think you've got some cabins too, right?
We do have cabins. Yeah, we actually can take everything from the small teardrop trailers to the big 45-foot and we have beautiful secluded tent sites for our campers looking for the nature experience. We have Benner barns that are great for families who don't have a tent but still want to experience camping with their kids. And then we have our cozy log cabins that have all the comforts of home, complete with kitchens and bathrooms. Some even have a fireplace. And all of our accommodations come with picnic tables and, of course, the best thing, the fire ring for those nighttime campfires.
Well, I think you've got everyone hooked. So the last thing we got to do is tell them how to make those phones ring. So tell us the phone number and what they need to do to make those reservations.
Yep, it's easy and friendly. You can request a reservation on our website at bennersmeadowrun.com, but our favorite way is when you call us and talk to us so we can find out exactly what you're looking for and really personalize your stay. And you can do that by calling us at 724-329-4097. You can like us on Facebook, where you can watch our campers and all of our shenanigans, and you can find us on Instagram, and you can find our website and phone number there too. And remember, we're open, yay, and we're located just 2.5 miles off of Route 40 in Farmington and only 5 miles from the Ohiopyle State Park. So give us a call. We're waiting for you at 724-329-4097, and would love to talk to you soon.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about and just some wonderful ideas for getaways, and I'm hooked with the s'mores idea over an open fire. So, folks, if it's time for you to get outside a little bit more as the weather starts to turn, I encourage you to give Mary Lou and her team a call. And again, that telephone number is 724-329-4097. Thanks, Mary Lou. We appreciate you being on Laurel Highlands Happenings today. TJ, I'll let you in on a little secret. Mary Lou just shared with me about those bears, and that's all I can tell you, except that all summer long, those bears are going to be at Benner's. So hopefully our listeners will give Mary Lou a call and follow up and have a wonderful time at Benner's Meadow Run Camping and Cabins. So we'll continue our Laurel Highlands Happening segment with another special guest, Brian Perry. Brian's the Executive Director of the Allegheny Trail Alliance, or as I like to say, Keepers of the Great Allegheny Passage Bike Trail. Brian, tell our listeners a little about this magnificent trail that traverses through the Laurel Highlands.
Hi, Ann. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on. The Great Allegheny Passage is the finest non-motorized trail in the country, and it stretches 150 miles from Pittsburgh to Cumberland, Maryland, through some of the most beautiful scenery in Maryland and Pennsylvania, with most of its curves and bridges and tunnels in the magnificent Laurel Highlands. It's perfect for biking or hiking, running, cross-country skiing, bird watching, or spotting wildflowers. Some folks take a fishing pole, other folks just take their cameras. People like the Gap because it's largely flat. It's safe because you're out of traffic, and because they're riding or walking next to rivers almost the entire length. You can pick a sunny section on a cooler morning or a shady section on a hot afternoon. And you can't get lost, but you can get away from it all. We see that it's common for families to be out for day trips, but tourists from 50 states and dozens of countries ride the Great Allegheny Passage from end to end over a 3 or 4 day trip, and the Gap is perfect for that. There are 10 lovely trail towns spaced apart, like Frostburg and Ohiopyle and Confluence, and they have B&Bs, inns, restaurants, bike shops, and everybody's favorite ice cream parlors, making a true vacation possible, all on a bike. Some folks even choose to continue all the way to Washington, D.C. on the C&O Canal towpath. And for many visitors, the Gap is their introduction to the amazing Laurel Highlands, and we want them to come back to explore all that the region has to offer.
Well, that's quite a trek from Pittsburgh to D.C., so kind of fits in nicely with what will be coming up tomorrow, which is the beginning of National Travel and Tourism Week. And this year's theme is Spirit of Travel, and I'd say anyone who rides this awesome trail must be filled with spirit. You shared a couple things that are special. So, what about these little trail towns? What makes them so special?
Sure. The trail towns offer all kinds of respite for travelers, right? Meals, lodging, museums, public art, and friendly folks who know how to welcome visitors. You can plan an out and back overnight or a weekend trip. You can have both quiet space on the trail and great conversation with the people you're traveling with, or with your hosts in town each night. Each town has a unique draw, right? Frostburg is known for its art scene. Confluence has a lovely town square surrounded by shops. Rockwood sits at the foot of Mount Davis, the highest point in Pennsylvania. You can paddle whitewater, you can hike in Ohiopyle. Pennsylvania's signature maple syrup makes Myersdale famous, and people go out of their way to pick up a jug when they're riding through. West Newton is known for craft beer. It has a new distillery. It's a favorite stop. Folks in towns are proud to be part of this network, and it's the local hospitality in the Laurel Highlands that really sets the Gap apart, I think.
Well, that truly does embody the spirit. We've all heard these words over the past couple of weeks, Brian, and that's social distancing. If I'm a rider on the Great Allegheny Passage, what should I remember? Are there certain rules that I should understand?
That's a good question. We're recommending that folks ride or walk with more space between others than they might otherwise take, just out of an abundance of caution. The 6-foot guideline is a smart one. We're recommending that folks carry some hand sanitizer with them. But as for other etiquette, using a bell on your bike to alert others that you're about to pass and doing so carefully and slowly, that's a common courtesy regardless of the season. Folks may wish to select parking at less busy trailheads to reduce contact with others for the time being. But the Gap's a big outdoor space with plenty of solitude and plenty of peace, and we're glad that outdoor recreation is a great way to help folks' mental health and physical well-being this season as well as the rest of the year.
Wonderful. Well, this trail certainly covers a lot of miles. How do you maintain a system that long? Or are there ways to support the trail?
Yeah, that's a great question. The Great Allegheny Passage was built and it's maintained by local folks from end to end. 95% of them are volunteers who spend tens of thousands of hours every year making sure that the Gap is open and safe. Some of the work's routine, like removing fallen trees after a storm or cutting grass. But other times, major mudslides come off the hills and they cover the trail a couple feet deep, and it takes a lot of work to dig through and restore the trail surface. And volunteers handle most of this work. They use their own tools. They're out on Saturday mornings and Wednesday nights all year. They raise money through 5Ks and charity rides and by securing some donations from local businesses. But I should emphasize there's no steady stream of state funding, and of course we're not a national park either. So I would urge listeners and regular trail travelers in the Laurel Highlands to pitch in with those groups. Or if you can't make that commitment, or if you have visited from outside the region, to check out the list of these groups on our website, gaptrail.org, and consider a charitable donation to one of them to keep the trail ready for travel. Folks can also support the Allegheny Trail Alliance, our organization, which makes emergency grants along the whole 150 miles.
Well, that's quite a merry band of volunteers, Brian. I'd say they truly have that spirit of our travel and tourism industry for sure. I've written portions of the Gap over the years, but I understand there is a great book that everyone should have if they're planning a full ride or even a day trip. Tell our listeners a little bit about it and how they might be able to secure one.
Sure. Yes, we produce a trail guide, the official guide to traveling the C&O Canal Towpath and the Great Allegheny Passage, and it contains detailed maps of both trails, mile-by-mile descriptions of what you'll see or discover, history of both trails, great photography, up-to-date town directories and maps. It's got a trip planning section, a list of trailheads and parking areas, and close to 20 popular itineraries that you can follow for day trips or overnights or through rides. And you can pick up a copy at our website, gaptrail.org, or at many bike shops or outfitters, or online at Amazon. And a portion of proceeds goes back into trail maintenance or enhancements. It's a great tool, and we're proud to provide it for folks.
Well, it certainly sounds like a copy of Trail Guide is what everyone needs to be able to get out there and enjoy some new scenery. I know folks are anxious to get outside and enjoy some warmer temperatures, still maintain that social distancing we were talking about and adhere to the CDC guidelines. But the Great Allegheny Passage sounds like a fabulous way to continue to spend time with our families and to get a bit of exercise, too. Listeners, you need to visit that website, gaptrail.org, to get some wonderful day trip ideas. You can hop on the trail at Ohiopyle. We talked about that a little earlier with Mary Lou Roth from Benner's, but Brian, one of my favorite sections is the Somerset County area. Getting on the trail at Myersdale, wow, some spectacular Laurel Highlands scenery biking north or south from that great little trail town. What's your favorite section?
Yes, that section near Myersdale, it's especially great for kids who love to bike out to the Salisbury Viaduct and peer down at the trains far below, or families like to pick up a picnic lunch in town and ride out to the Eastern Continental Divide and the Big Savage Tunnel. I would say for me, each section has its unique photo ops and places to stop and linger, right? In the spring, for example, I like the section from Rockwood to Confluence, deep in the heart of the Laurel Highlands. It has miles and miles of rhododendrons and mountain laurels, rushing streams, and dozens of tiny waterfalls. It's just peaceful and sublime. In the summer, I like the section near a tiny hamlet called Whitsett, where after miles of winding woods, you come out of the shade into this huge meadow of wildflowers, and it's just gorgeous. And in the fall, I recommend the ride from Ohiopyle to Connellsville, where the tree canopy turns orange and red and purple, and you're riding through the deepest gorge in the state. It just makes for a perfect day. So it's hard to pick a favorite, but those are three sections that I favor on a great weekend ride for sure.
Well, that is definitely great information, Brian. See, my friends, there's different spokes for different folks. Brian, you were talking a little bit about those different sections. What about that area in Pittsburgh? It kind of gives you that urban feel, right? So where is actually the start or the stop of the Great Allegheny Passage when it comes to our sister city right there in Pittsburgh?
Sure. The terminus in Pittsburgh is at beautiful Point State Park, where the Monongahela and Allegheny rivers form the Ohio River, and the stretch of the gap from Pittsburgh out to the Laurel Highlands traces the Steel Valley region, where you can see steel mills and coke ovens, a beautiful sunny section, and it's great for kids, and it's a great section that local folks in Pittsburgh use to commute in and out of the city. It's a beautiful spot for sure.
Wow, wonderful. Well, again, Brian, thank you so much for being our guest on Laurel Highlands Happenings today. And I encourage everyone to visit their website, which is, again, GapTrail, GapTrail.org, and begin planning a bike experience for you and your family in the wide open spaces of the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Listeners, once again, it's been a pleasure being with you today for Laurel Highlands Happenings, our May segment. And again, we're leading into National Travel and Tourism Week, and we've talked a lot about the spirits And the spirit in the Laurel Highlands is strong. I know it's challenging right now, but we are saying that Laurel Highlands is strong. We have spirit. And obviously from our two guests today, you definitely know that you will have a warm welcome when you arrive here in Pennsylvania's Laurel Highlands. One of the things that Brian offline was the spirit of the Great Allegheny Passage really talks about the westward expansion of America. You will follow in the footsteps of General Braddock, Mason and Dixon, and also General George Washington. Pretty special. You'll also have 4 tunnels that you can travel through, 12 bridges, several train stations, and I personally have gone through the longest of those tunnels. The Big Savage Tunnel is over 3,000 feet long. So as the summer progresses and it gets hot out there in the Laurel Highlands, let me tell you, when your bike enters that and those cool temperatures just embrace you, you are absolutely in for a treat. And when you come out on the other side, the magnificent vistas that greet you along the Great Allegheny Passage are truly something that are very special and spectacular. Bring your camera when you come to the Laurel Highlands. Things are starting to bloom and to pop and turn lush and green. It's one of the reasons folks love coming to our Laurel Highlands. We have over 3,000 square miles in our footprint, and we really do have something for everyone. I realize it's a little more challenging than what we might be used to, but we are an adaptable society. And let me also share that our tourism partners are resilient. They are ready and they are waiting for you, whether you have the ability to walk into their establishment or, as Mary Lou said, no problem. We'll come right out to the curb and we'll get you absolutely everything that you need. Our restaurants and our craft beverage industry are just coming up with incredible business models to be able to serve not only the locals, but the visitors as well. You know, we're real proud of the Laurel Highlands, and certainly coming into the spirit of travel with National Travel and Tourism Week, it gives us all a moment to pause and appreciate each other. And really that's what our industry is all about. It's about hospitality. It's about family. It's about sharing what we love with others. So listeners, again, that's a wrap for Laurel Highlands Happenings. I want to thank my guest, Mary Lou Roth with Benner's Meadow Run Camping and Cabins, and Brian Perry with the Great Allegheny Passage Bike Trail. And for more information on everything Laurel Highlands, I encourage you to visit our website, which is laurelhighlands.org. That's laurelhighlands.org. And of course, we can't do these shows without our wonderful sponsors. And this month, we want to give a big shout out to Camp Christian. Camp Christian is our sponsor for this month, and we hope that we will be back with you in June. We've got some exciting things that are coming up, but in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and definitely visit our website at laurelhighlands.org. You'll find lots of activities for you and your family that you can enjoy during these challenging times. And again, thanks so much for joining us.
At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.